What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Conner Rueca Show. I still have not chosen a name, so we're going to keep it the Conner Rueca Show. Today, we're talking about something systems alone cannot solve. My guest today is Joey Bibbo. Thank you for coming. He's known publicly as the Shirtless Closer. That is why he is shirtless. I was thinking maybe if you get me in the mood, Joey,
The shirt's coming off.
the shirt's coming off. But guys, this episode. It's always going to be around 30 minutes. We're going to keep it short and tactical. We're breaking down right now what happens on real direct to seller calls. That's something that Joey is heavily involved in, and that's what he loves and knows how to coach in. We don't do much fluff, guys. We don't do the long bios. We're here to educate, implement, and leave listeners with clear action steps they can use today and also be excited to use today. Okay, so before we jump in, Joey, just give us a quick intro so they understand who they are learning from today.
Absolutely. So my name is Joey Bibbo. I'm originally from New Jersey, currently living out in Medellín, Colombia, the country, not the city, which everybody always says. I've been wholesaling the last 5 years, failed forward through the business, and still standing strong, still doing it full time. I have a team now, and this is all I do. I have my community that I coach, and I have my wholesaling business, and that is literally all we do full time, guys.
Let's freaking go. It's all the way from Medellin, Colombia. That's insane. I actually have a couple other friends out there that are doing the same model, living overseas, South America, doing wholesaling in the USA. It's excellent. So to jump into this, Joey, the first question I have, and this is going to be like a fireside chat, guys. We're going to go back and forth, give each other our opinions, less of an interview. But based on the content that I've consumed of yours, you talk a lot about frame and framing, right? So on a direct to seller call, what does a strong frame actually look like? Like what does that control look like as you're communicating with the seller?
So you basically need a script to do anything, and in that script, you need to vet them up front. You need an upfront agreement after you vet them. So like I want to know I'm talking to the right person. Then I need to grab control of the entire call. That control comes from the upfront agreement, which is basically just telling them how our process works, telling them how this call is going to go, and setting the expectation for the close. Then from there, you get into the questions and the rest of the script, and that's how you frame the call so that you have control and you're not just getting dragged by the seller or talking to someone for 2 hours that literally is not even meant to talk to you.
And this goes for inbound, outbound seller leads. It all works the same.
Every lead to me is the same. You either want to sell or you don't want to sell. I don't care the lead source, honestly.
Okay, cool. Can you go deeper into that first couple minutes, those first lines that you're kind of talking about on your script, maybe the first 2 to 3 things that you're doing with the seller? So first, introducing yourself.
Yep. So introducing myself, are you still looking to sell that property? I'm always going to ask them again because the first thing I need to hear is yes, I am, or yeah, I'll sell for the right price or whatever bullshit they're going to say from there. That's step number one. Once I know they're actually selling their property, I want to get the price out of them, make sure I'm talking to someone that's at least somewhat realistic. Look, if they're asking retail, I don't care. I'm still going to take them through the rest of the script. That is irrelevant to me. But if they're asking $1 million and Zillow says 200K, I'm going to be like, are you actually looking to sell, or would you only sell if you got more than the house was worth? And then from there, the next question I always ask is, if I got you an offer you were happy with, are you ready to start the process today, right now, whichever version of that you want to go with? Depends on my mood for the day for that one. And basically what I'm doing there is I want to make sure, like, yes, I've made that conscious decision in my mind that I want to sell my house. It's not just like, yeah, I'll sell, but like I'm not like, no, I'm not ready to sell right now. No, if it's either you're ready to sell right now and we're going to get you an offer, or you're not and you're going to turn into a follow-up, and I'm going to figure out then when to follow up with you, set that cadence, and take it from there.
Interesting. Okay, so you're kind of like, you're sort of running through like some of the pillars. So I have 4 pillars from the way that I was taught by Brent Daniels: condition, timeline, motivation, price. You're immediately introducing yourself. You're confirming. You're pretty much getting like a subliminal agreement, right? They're telling you, yes, I want to sell right now, without like actively saying it and begging you to buy it. And
Then
then
I
you're
go
going after the
after
price.
Not timeline yet. I do timeline
Okay.
after the upfront agreement. I'm
Okay.
more just vetting them up front to just make sure that they actually want to sell their house. Like they've made that decision up consciously. And then from there, I'm just making sure the last question for me is just, is everyone here that should be here for a call like this? Is there anyone else on the deed? And if they're like, no, I'm the only one on the deed, I'm the only one that needs to be here for this call, perfect. Right into the upfront agreement from there to grab control of the call.
In this call, are you telling them upfront that you're also trying to get them an offer on the call?
Yeah, so in the upfront agreement, I'll do it really quick. The way our process works is I'm going to ask you a couple questions about your property. Then I'll get you an offer on this call. If that offer makes sense, I'll send you over a purchase agreement. We could go over everything together. And then as long as everything's good on that agreement, we'll sign it, send it over to a title company. They'll act as a third party between us, protect you as a seller, me as the buyer. And then we'll pick a closing date you're choosing to receive the money, which title would send via wire transfer or certified check. Does that sound good? And that's the upfront agreement. The first 4 questions are closed-ended questions. I'm not asking you a question to get you open at all. I'm like, are you worth my time? Then from there, once I know you're worth my time, because think about it, like there's so many times in the past I would have a lead on the phone and they're just like yellow personality, just talking your ear off, and they're just not even ready to make a decision. So it's like, if you are ready to make a decision and like you're a real seller, I'll be on the phone with you for 3 hours. I don't care. But if you're just not even ready or serious about selling yet, I got to protect my time so I could call someone that is ready to sell and is serious about it so I can give them my help.
Guys, I'm going to take a step aside. I told Joey we got to talk implementation. He's doing exactly that for you guys. So guys, take notes. What he just said, play that back a couple seconds. That was like a minute of straight game. This is exactly what he does. And then also send it to a friend, guys. If this is going to help you, your mates, any other friends that's also wholesaling, talking to sellers, send it to them. But this is awesome, Joey. Okay, so what if they are not worth your time? Are you just jumping off the phone? Are you saying anything else? Or what's the strategy there?
I'm going to set a follow-up with them. Like basically, let's say, for example, if they're just not really looking to sell, that's going to be an archive campaign. We'll call them, we'll have either AI callers or VAs call them 6 months later. Right now, I don't even have VAs, so everything's just going into the back. If they're like, no decision maker, not all decision makers are on the call, I'm going to set a follow-up cadence, usually try to get them on the call right there. If they can't talk right now, I'll set an appointment, get on the appointment. And if they're just like, no, I'm not really ready to start the process right now, but I'll be ready in 3 months, I'll always ask, like, what is going on that has you waiting 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever the timeline they say is. If it's a legitimate reason, then I'm going to just set, like, let's say they say 3 months, I'll call them back in a month and a half. If it's not a legitimate reason and I'm like, this guy's just kicking the tire, I'll probably put them in a 6-month trip as well.
Okay, fire. And then, so let's say they, or I want to take this to like mindset really quickly because I've heard a lot of wholesalers talk on the phone with people who are yellow sellers or just yappers, and it's not worth their time. And there's been times where I've even been with a friend and they're taking call. I'm like, bro, jump off that call as soon as possible. But sometimes these guys stay on the phone call because they think it's worth it. They think we're actually doing something. We're pushing, the sale closer. What's the mindset that the person needs to have? Does it need to be in like an abundant mindset? There's another deal elsewhere. There's more opportunities in your pipeline. What's your mindset when you're kind of passing up this conversation because it's not worth your time?
Because it's not worth my time, I just understand that like I can only help people that need my help right now. And it is, I guess, an abundance mindset. Like it's, put it this way, if you don't let them go and you sit there and waste an hour of your time throughout the day, you're actually missing out on the people that need your help. If you're worried about like, oh, I don't want to just burn through my leads, like I'm going to make sure every person gets an offer and everything. It's like, yeah, but they're not ready to go yet. I could be the best salesman in the world and they're still not going to accept my offer because they're just not consciously ready to make a decision. So it's like the most important part to me is, are you ready? If you're ready, let's talk. If you're not ready, when will you be ready? And then you just take it from there and don't live in scarcity. Guys, even if you run out of money for leads, I've been broke my entire career trying to figure this shit out until now. You literally can go onto Zillow and call FSBOs. You can call on market. Like you will never have there's no lack of resources. There's a lack of resourcefulness. So just get resourceful when you get broke and you will figure it out.
I love that. I absolutely love that. That is super fire. Okay, so very early on in the conversation, you're setting a very strong frame. I actually love it. I think everyone should implement that. Now, when you set a frame this strong, is it easier to lose it? I feel like people lose their framing pretty quickly. They make, or they might say something that kind of puts the ball in the seller's court where they start asking questions. How do you make sure that you're not losing frame throughout the conversation?
When you say losing frame, you basically mean like getting
control.
Like basically giving up my control there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the way my process is built is for control. So honestly, if you're following the script and you know the process to a T, you're typically not going to lose control. I believe in the Jordan Belfort straight line method, and that's basically where like you're going to have objections come up, you're going to have them get into certain stuff, and you have to go up there with them, but then you always have to bring them back down into the script. That's why you need a script for everything. So that's also why I ask closed-ended questions at the beginning. Like,
Nice.
what price are you looking to get? 100K, 200K. It's not like, oh, I'm looking to get 100K, but I actually want 1,000 and blah, 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 blah. Like, if I got you a price that made you happy, are you ready to start the process right now? Yes or no. This isn't open-ended. Open-ended is for once we made it through my vetting process. Now everything is open-ended, other than the condition, but that's, you can't be too open-ended with condition.
Right. Okay. So besides using a script, besides using closed-ended questions up front, and then as you're really trying to fact find, get to know the person, build a rapport, open-ended, what are some other common ways that you see closers, acquisition guys accidentally give the frame or the control to the seller?
I think it's getting away from the script. Like I genuinely think that's the biggest mistake everybody makes. It's like letting them have the control and then going with them in their race. When it's like, put it this way, we are the doctors in wholesaling, right? Like we are basically like, no one goes to a fucking doctor's office and is like, I hurt my knee, I need surgery, it's my ACL that I tore, and this is what I need done on it. The doctor's gonna look at you and be like, hold on, slow your fucking roll. Let's go do an MRI first, and let's take it from there. So in terms of we are basically the doctors on the phone. Like, this is what we do. You want to sell your house, you're talking to me. I'm the expert on cash and on investments. So I'm going to dissect your house the way that I need to. I need to ask my questions. And if I can't ask my questions, then how can I get you an offer? How can I know what I can actually pay for this property? Like, you need my prognosis, or whatever the fuck the word is. Not good with big words. But you need me to give you the diagnostics, not fucking the other way around and you're calling the shots. I really feel like the script is it's a straight line system. You just always have to get back to that middle ground of like, this is what I need to get done. This is the way the call's going to go. This is my process. These are my questions.
That is so excellent. And then how about when a seller gets emotional with you? Maybe they get frustrated or defensive, overwhelmed. How are you bringing that back to the straight line method that you're talking about?
You got to go with them at that point, right? So it's like in the straight line method, we're here, right? Like, it's like, this is my script. I got to get from here to here. But if my seller goes up here, I can't just stay on my script, because that would be like, I'm not fucking listening. Like,
Yep.
that would, like, I'm not a serial killer out here. I'm not like, the seller's like, my husband just died. And I'm just like, okay, so what price are you looking to get? Like, and trust me, I've done that before. I've been a victim of it. But you have to go up with them and then go into whatever is going on. If they're getting defensive with you, figure out what's going on. Ask some questions. Did I say anything that made you feel like I'm not real in the business? Like, ask them what's making them feel the way that they are. Stuff like that. And then once you go into that, you bring them back down into the script. That's kind of how you have to, like, you got to disarm them. At the beginning of the call, their guard is up. Even if they're the hottest lead ever, they've never spoken with you, they don't know you, you're just someone on the phone. So you just have to go up with where they are sometimes and bring them back down to where I want to be.
Can we role play this really quickly?
Let's do it.
I'm just going to go with like, I'm talking to way too many people, okay? So just ask me a simple question, let's say somewhere on your script, and then I'm just going to react.
So what price are you looking to get for the property?
You know what, Joey? I hear this question all the time. I'm like, you don't even understand. I'm getting like so many calls every single day, like new cold calls, and then people also that I've been talking to for months. And dude, like no one's actually giving me a script. I'm quite frustrated. Like, can you guys just give me a number yourself?
I'm going to give you an offer by the end of this call, and hopefully I could be the last person you have to deal with on this process. If you've been talking to that many people and you haven't gotten an offer, that's a little ridiculous. But we're going to get you an offer by the end of this call. I just need to know what you're looking to get for the property. So what's a ballpark range you're looking to walk away with?
Well, you'd be surprised. I hear this actually a lot. Like a lot of people tell me the same exact thing, that I want to be the last person, or that your guys are going to be the last person to give me an offer.
Okay, well, we need to get to the offer first to see if it's acceptable, obviously. But I want to make sure that you are at least in a realistic number. And I just kind of want to see where your head's at with everything. If you want $1 million, the house is worth $200K. Not going to be your buyer. There's no way I could overpay for a house. but I need to at least see where your head's at. Like, what's a ballpark range you're actually trying to get? What are you looking to walk away with for the property?
I love it. Yeah, I see what you're doing. You're like agreeing with me. Or, I'm sorry that you're doing with this. It's kind of ridiculous. But you're coming in with like a kind heart. You're saying like, I actually do want to help you. I just want to make sure I'm not totally shooting in the dark. That's fire.
Exactly.
Cool. Thank you for doing that for me. I don't really do that with many people, and I'm glad that you took that challenge. What is something that a salesperson should not say when they're talking to these sellers and trying to build rapport?
When trying to build rapport, why are you looking to sell your house? The word why is an interrogation question. That's what Andy Garcia taught me this from his sales training, and that one always like stayed true. Because if I ask a why question, it kind of almost sounds like you're interrogating me. But if I'm like, well, what's the reason you're looking to sell your property? Then it kind of makes sense from there. I think that's one of the biggest things I teach to everybody is just frame it as a what instead of a why question. That's number one. Another thing that you should not say in terms of rapport is anything that's not in terms of the thing that they just said. So basically what I mean by that is if I'm saying what's the reason you're looking to sell the property, and your answer is I'm looking to sell because I'm moving to Florida, and then I'm like, oh, okay, do you have a house picked out in Florida? That's going in a circle around what is going on with their situation. Instead ask, what's got you going down to Florida? I'm going to go directly into the pain and what's going on instead of beating around the pain and asking the closed-ended questions that everybody asks in rapport.
So this is super powerful. I've heard people do that. Do you banter with your sellers at all? Try to make them laugh, try to crack a joke. A really cool line that I've heard, like if someone says, I'm moving to Florida, I've heard someone say like, oh no, how come you're leaving this area? What do I not know about Savannah, Georgia that you're going to Florida for? Kind of like saying like, oh no, they're leaving for some reason. They know something behind the scenes and I'm the investor, I'm the professional, but I don't know what you're talking about. We've heard really good responses from that. Like, no, nothing's wrong with Savannah, Georgia. Like, this area is there's literally a school that's right down the road. This is not, I'm just going to Florida for X, Y, and Z. Are you applying any banter jokes in any way with your sellers?
I will, but I've never done exactly that. And I might even add that. I like that. But what I'm doing, like when I'm in the rapport stage, look, if I find a place to crack a joke, I'm always going to crack a joke because at the end of the day, like this is a very big decision for a seller, but it's also like I do not want the entire call to just be like, well, so what is the, like, I don't want to be all serious the entire call. I more use jokes when I'm in a negotiation than when I'm trying to get through the rapport, because on the rapport side, I'm basically trying to just get them as open as possible, which means most of my things I'm asking are going to just be directly into what they're saying. Like I'm going to ask open-ended questions directly into that. But when I'm on a negotiation, like I got a buyer yesterday he offered us 60 grand on his property. I got him up to 130,000 on our property. And literally, we got to break that one down. That was a dope negotiation, but fucking I was joking with him throughout the negotiation, like, and you have to do that because if you feel like it's this, like it's me versus you, and we're just butting heads the entire time, you don't want me to win, and we're in a war now. And it's like if I can make it where it's like I put my arm around you and I'm going through that door with you to make that decision, that's a lot easier of a negotiation to get someone either if it's on the acquisition side to come down or on the disposition side to come up. So I'm sitting here like, sometimes I'm like, come on, dude. Like, we're fucking right there. Like, let's just make this thing work. Like, stuff like that that's just gonna, like, completely rearrange their fucking brain in that negotiation. Because they're so used to everyone's just like, I cannot be at 60. I have to be at 130. Or I was at 140, but whatever. And it's like, you get someone to lighten their mood when they're in that serious mode, that is going to drop their guard so fucking quick. It's not even funny. And then now I'm literally just like, we're boys negotiating. It's like me and Conner, dude, let's go get fucking Mexican food tonight. You're trying to get Cuban food, and I'm like, dude, let's just go get let's go, bro. You don't want tacos right now? Like, now we're boys. Like, you know what I mean? I can get you to go get the fucking tacos now because it's like boys versus boys instead of fucking you versus me in that negotiation.
100%. I actually was talking to my brother who was talking to your friend Ross, and Ross had taught Alec, who's my brother, guys, like the method of just like when you're in the negotiation or you're in a sales call, like have like a barbecue type conversation. Like you're just at the barbecue, you're in the backyard, no one's thinking about work, no one's thinking about business. Maybe we're watching some football. We're just bantering with each other. That's how you need to act with the people that you're trying to do a deal with. Because yes, resistance is a lot lower and we're also more of ourselves and we can talk fluently. We can be more creative. And yeah, you're right. That stuff 100% works. Has Ross taught you about that method?
Yeah. Ross is the one that's like, come on, dude, let's just fucking do it. And it's like, it works so fucking well. It really does. Like on that, I'll send you the call recording, Connor, if you want to fucking listen to that one. But literally, just that whole negotiation was just like, it was a masterclass in negotiation, but it was also just the mood by the end of it was like, all right, let's get like we were boys by the end of that call.
That's awesome. Were they the buyer? So they were
Yeah.
like the flipper and they offered 60 on your property that you were trying to assign.
Yeah.
You got him up to 130? That's insane. Were they just bullshitting you at first with the 60?
No, he thought that he was going to get it around 60, but it was okay. If this was a single family home, there's no way I was getting that high. It's four properties right next to each other. So
Oh,
I
nice.
basically broke it down by the property. So technically I got him up 17K per property, which in total was 70K.
Nice. Let's freaking go. Okay, yes, send that to us. Maybe we can put in the chat if you can share it that far, but send it to me for sure. I want to listen to that. Another question I have, Joey. One of the hardest skills in when you're talking to these sellers is like knowing when to apply pressure and when to back off.
Yes.
How are you making that adjustment in the call?
So when I first did it, I say you have to go as hard as you can the first couple times to like literally find that threshold. And then eventually it's more of an art than a skill. So like you basically have to feel it. Like it really is more of a feeling than anything. I'm always gonna push as much as I can on any seller or buyer, but you also have to know that feeling of like, okay, they're getting to their fucking limit. I gotta just, I push the brakes, and I'm not gonna say anything else. We're gonna let them go. But the first couple times, I mean, you might get told to go fuck yourself, but good, do it. Like, get to that point where you've pushed them so far that they're like, Joey, just stop. Like, I'm not doing it right now. I'm going to do it tomorrow. And that's when you're like, okay, I'm sorry, absolutely. I'm not trying to press you in any way. I just want to make sure we can figure this out. I know that you want to sell, whatever, but it's all good. I'll call you back tomorrow. And I fully pull back at that point. But you need to go through it a couple times of, like, pushing them too far to find that calibration point to understand that's like, okay, like you're starting to feel them getting guarded again and you're going a little too hard. Don't push anymore now.
It's a feeler. We go 3 times, so we try to get told no 3 times before we kind of like settle with whatever we're conversing about. I know you're saying yours is based off of feeling. Do you go an X amount of times as well on top of how you feel about that conversation?
I think 3 times is a perfect rule of thumb, if I'm being honest. Like that's if I like looked at the science and like how many times I'll push and watch back my lives, it probably comes out to exactly about 3 times. I think that's the perfect rule of thumb. I've just been doing this for so long. I literally have that gut. Sometimes even the first time is like, oh no. We gotta go back a little bit.
That's funny. Yeah, and guys, make sure when you're asking again or you're trying to do a test close or you're pushing again, don't say the same exact thing that you said initially or before, right? Change up your words.
Yes, always.
Okay. So you like scripts. You train people with scripts. How often does someone or when you guys are role playing or training, what does that look like with a script for y'all?
So it depends what part we're role playing, right? So there's going to be days that I literally just role play the basics of the script. And then when it gets into negotiation, I have a script for the negotiation, but it can't, there's going to be times that you have to feel it too and you kind of have to go off the cuff. But we have a framework that we use on the negotiation typically, which balances logic and emotion. And it depends whether I'm dealing with a buyer or a seller. But in terms of the role plays, the way we do it is it's super simple. You're either following the script or you're not. And if you're not following the script, then you are off the phones until it's memorized in the back of your head. You are not calling again until it's fully memorized. And that's the way I do it on the script side. And then on the follow-ups, everything else we were trying to script it, and I'm like, dude, you can't script a follow-up. Every follow-up is a different thing. You just have to go off of what the last cadence was in the last conversation and then set a new cadence every follow-up, and that's it.
Do you have acquisition managers today, or is it mainly just
um
you?
I'm hiring acquisition managers as we speak. I've gone through a lot in the last couple of years. I've been doing most of the acquisitions this year, and my community actually does my acquisitions with us too.
Nice. So you coach sales?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
nice.
have a school community. We do 3 calls a week, and we have a lead program with it. So I basically give 25 leads a month, JV program with us, and essentially, if you get a contract off those first 25, you'll get another 25. Like you'll get fed, and that's basically been my acquisition system for the last 4 or 5 months. So we just launched this program.
That's freaking fire, bro. Okay, guys, if you guys are listening, look into that. That's huge. Okay, so you're pretty much telling your guys, you guys have to know the script like the back of your hand. You have to memorize it. You have to be able to run without it. And guys, 100%, that makes you so much more comfortable on the phone. And then you guys still have the script open every single time you guys are taking calls. No?
I do not allow scripts to be open on the calls,
Really?
and I'll tell you why. I called it, this is going to be a controversial opinion here, but I call it like, you know, when you're a baby and you're like a little blankie, you know what I mean? Like you had that thing that you had to hug every time that you felt uncomfortable or whatever. Everyone had something like that. That's your script on your fucking screen. That's like you need to rub it to be comfortable type thing. Guys, get rid of your script off your screen, because if it's not memorized in the back of your head, there's the 4 levels of mastery. The 4th level is unconsciously competent. That means it's in your subconscious mind. You need your script to be in your subconscious mind, because if you have to look at it or think about it while you're on the phone with the seller, that brain power that you are using to look at it or think about it is not getting focused on the seller, their problem, and where you need to be for an offer. So think about this. If I'm calling and I need my script in front of me, what happens if that script goes away for a second? I'm fucked. I remember when I used to call with the script myself and I would have it in front of me because I used to be that same guy. Dude, I would literally get like my heart would start beating faster. I'm anxious because it's like where'd my blanket go? But now I'm at the point where it doesn't. I've said it so many times, and I've seen so many people go through my training that have successfully done this where they don't need the script either. Because if it's that memorized, guys, read it 1,000 times. Get to the point where you have it so good that it's like, look, consciously competent on a script, you know it, but if I give you a fucking objection, you're gonna fold like a wet noodle because
Yep.
it's not in your subconscious mind, which means if the script isn't right there in front of you, you're not even gonna know where to go from there. That's why it needs to be in your subconscious mind. That's why I'm so keen on like it needs to be fully memorized, not just like, okay, I know the script, I got it. Let's start calling now. Fuck no. Your confidence goes up through the roof when you have the script in the back of your mind. I promise you guys.
That's a huge nugget, bro. You're right. It is kind of controversial. I've never ever heard someone say that scripting is so important. You must have a script. You must memorize it. And then they say you shouldn't have it in front of your sales call. That's huge. And I'm sure it works. I'm so sure that your guys are way better than all these other guys calling with the script.
I literally had half of my community this week get off the phones, and I bet a couple guys in it that didn't want to get off the phones, if they don't make another call from now until Sunday, this was on Wednesday, and all that they do is get this script memorized, and then they get back on the phones Sunday. If they don't have a contract by Friday, I will send them $50.
You really believe in this?
100%.
That's fire. Guys, if you're listening, either go into Joey's school, figure out how you guys can learn, or just try this in your guys' own business or with your own salespeople. Now that I'm listening to it, it's making so much more sense. When we were taking sales calls, and even when we take sales calls today, I don't have a script myself, but I still put myself in situations where I can't have a script open. Like whenever I'm with my brothers and maybe we're at lunch, I purposely, if I could take a call right there, I'm going to take a call and I'm going to do it in front of everyone, right? First and foremost to say, fuck you guys, I can take a call right here while you guys are all eating and, lounging and stuff like that, making them feel some type of way. But also it's to challenge myself to be like, doesn't have to be a condition that has to be there for me to make a call and be successful. I could be put in anywhere in this world. I can have any issue going on, loud noise in the background, at a dinner table, girls around, pretty girls walking around, and I can still perform. And guys, thank you for sharing that, Joey. That's massive. Okay, guys, we hit 30 minutes. I'm going to end it right here, guys, with this one question for Joey. What's the biggest mistake you made early in sales that changed how you approached your conversations today?
It's going to be cliche with everything else I've been saying, but like literally it was just not having that process and script down. It was literally just because I'm a very good talker. I'm very good at speaking. Always been good at making friends, meeting people, outgoing, bubbly personality, the whole nine. So sales would come easy. But guys, I literally got the script down. I got the process down. I went from barely closing a deal a month or barely even locking up a contract a month. The first month on the fucking process, 20 deals got locked up that month. The first month ever. And I'm like,
wow.
Like, you can't make this shit up.
That's fire. And then I know we talked about this earlier before we started this, but who have you learned sales from so people know kind of where your background information and your experience is coming from too?
Andy Garcia is where I learned most of my process from. He was Carlos Reyes' number one acquisition guy for a very long time, and he's been crushing it on his own ever since. Uncle Charles has taught me a lot of stuff. Eric Klein, I got mentored by Eric Klein and Tony Mont. Aaron Bevins, that was another one of my mentors, and Robert Shemin, and that was it.
So guys, he's an accumulation, a package, all-in-one, experienced right here with Joey Bibbo, the Shirtless Closer. Where should people follow you and learn more about your work?
Shirtless Closer on Instagram, Joey Bibbo on YouTube, and Joey Bibbo on Facebook. But realistically, Instagram's going to be, if you guys need anything, DM me on Instagram. That's like where most of my attention would be in terms of answering people. Facebook Messenger is outside of the app, so I'm never there. And give me a follow, guys, and I'm here to help you guys with any part of this business.
Let's go. All right, Joey, this was Pure Implementation. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you for keeping it super real, super tactical. This is definitely going to go a long way and help a bunch of different operators, different salespeople. And guys, thank you guys for coming, listening. Send this to a friend. Take notes. Rewatch it. I'm even going to give this to my salespeople who are trying to sell closer control, trying to sell AI to you real estate investors. But guys, every single time you guys see our face and are on this podcast, you guys already know we're here to show you guys real information that you can implement into your business. Thank you, Joey. Appreciate you, brother. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks for having me, brother. Peace out, guys.